house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this good. A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan, and with me in the studio, Nick Bombrick.
Oh, yeah.
And to my left on the ones and twos, Joseph Ascani.
Let's get it.
This is episode 157. This is going to be the most meaningful episode we've done in quite some time. It's a look ahead to the upcoming college football season. We're talking over-under win totals, conference champions, Heisman Trophy odds, any futures bet you can think of, what we deem as the best possible bet. We are going to give it to you. These are the bets that you make that take a while to pay off, but they pay dividends down the line. The way I look at it is, if you're betting, if you're doing FanDuel, Caesars, Barstool, whatever, that money already comes out of your account. So it's a can't lose situation.
Yeah,
6 months from now, 6 months from now, whenever these cash or don't, if they don't cash, that money's long gone.
It's like it never happened.
That money's been gone, so it doesn't even feel like a loss. And then if you win, it's like you got free money. So that's how a moron would look at it. So if you're tracking it like we are, you'll know if you made money or not. But I'm going to have pretty much just about every conference I have an over-under win total. I don't think I have anything for the Big 12. I don't think I have anything for the Sunbelt. I looked at it for quite a while. Couldn't really pull the trigger on anything. But yeah, I'm fired up. It is close. Every year, I think I've said it literally every year, I do a little bit more research than the year before. So I feel like I have my finger on the pulse of the college football landscape, who went where. More so players than coaches, but there's been a lot of coaching changes. Jeff Brom at Louisville, and then who fucking took over? Luke Fickell went to Wisconsin.
Yep. Like,
those are the ones that, like, I don't know. I tend to forget, so I'm trying to keep up with all of that. But before we get into that, go subscribe to the Big Easy Bets TV YouTube page. Go subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and you're not subscribed, just hit the button real quick. It's very easy. Means nothing to you, everything to us. Same thing with the YouTube page. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and you want to head over there, search it in the search bar, Big Easy Bets TV, hit subscribe. Again, it helps us, and we'd appreciate it. So, couple things. There's really not much. I mean, since we recorded last, the submarine, the Titanic, I already put out a video on that. Current events, not a ton has happened. You saw the NFL came out today. I don't know if you did or not, but they're blaming all the slipping on the players not wearing the right cleats, not on the surface of the field. I don't buy it.
Yep.
I don't buy it. It was natural grass though, right?
That they're slipping on?
Yeah, well, that they played on, wasn't it?
For which game?
The Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Remember, they were slipping all over, and the Eagles blamed that as why they lost.
Yeah, it was new turf.
But like grass that they've been growing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. They blame the field conditions as why they didn't win, and the NFL blames them for not wearing the right cleats. So a lot of people were tweeting about it, and they were not happy. What else? Anything else going on?
All the suspensions.
LSU won the baseball championship.
Yeah. We'll give a quick shout out to the best college baseball team you've probably ever seen. So you've got arguably the best pitcher and one of the best players of all time on the same team. So, yeah, no, LSU with an improbable run, too, in terms of going the long way, having to literally play as many games as just about as you possibly could to win the national championship, and they did just that. The knock on the team was that the bullpen and the pitching rotation outside of Skeens was going to be their Achilles heel, and it was kind of the strength because the hitting didn't really show up until the very final game, and it showed up in a big way. Florida 20-run rules us in game 2, and then damn near we traded it right back to him in game 3. So shout out to, Paul Skeens is an animal. I actually ordered his jersey.
Yeah.
I swear it's on the way. I got a link popped up. Those For You pages or like the sponsored shit, they know what they're doing. I saw it. I was like, I'll get it. But yeah, Dylan Cruz, dude, there was so many people we were talking about. There were so many people that made like a season saving play.
Oh yeah.
Just in the last series against Wake Forest and then Florida. You got Pearson with the catch in left field, which was like, it was a really good catch. He had to jump up pretty high for it, nearly doubled him up. But if that goes over his head, game over. Trey Morgan charging the swinging bunt to get the runner out at home plate, diving like it barely in his glove for a split second. That was, in my opinion, that was the best play. That was like all of these plays saved the season, but he doesn't get enough credit for his ability to field his position. But then you've got, Beloso with the home run. You've got Tommy Tanks with multiple home runs, the walk-off, and then he hit one right before Beloso hit the game winner. Everybody stepped up in a big way. It really was pretty remarkable. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a college baseball expert by any means, but where would that team rank all time? It's got to be in the conversation, right?
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
When we won it in 2009, we were really good too.
Yeah.
Really good.
And
look at that lineup.
So like I'm not a historian of college baseball. Not gonna pretend to be. But I know the game and I know what I saw with my own two eyes, and then also hearing other people talk about it. So it's kind of crazy if you think about it, even if it's in the conversation as the best college baseball team of all time. 4 years ago, it's not even a debate. We saw the best college football team of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Women's college basketball just fucking dominated. It's pretty crazy. LSU's becoming the premier school when you look at across the board. Obviously, gymnastics, you've got fucking the dance team's even good, winning national championships. It is pretty it's pretty remarkable, I gotta say. But yeah, the fact that if that is one of the best college baseball teams of all time, you just saw the best college football team of all time. People keep trying to argue Alabama. The very next year, I get it. The numbers don't lie, I guess, but I just don't think they're taking into account the teams we played.
Yeah.
Like on the road in Texas right off the bat, but what they did, they act like it was Oklahoma when Jefferson caught the 5 touchdowns in the first half and Burrow, he had 8? It's like if he plays a full game, he might throw 16 fucking touchdowns in a game.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get it. I don't get the comparison. I think 2019 LSU, I think they blow out, maybe not blow out, but they certainly beat Alabama of 2020. But yeah, all right. Anyway, what else? Anything? What were you about to say?
Suspensions
for
gambling in the NFL.
Okay, yeah. Is there anybody new? I know there was somebody.
Those Colts players.
Yeah, what did he do? He bet
on his team.
Yeah. So okay, yeah. Let's talk about that. What are your thoughts? You think they should be allowed to bet or not?
No.
What do you think?
No.
People are picking a side on this, passionately. I don't really. Yeah, no, they shouldn't be allowed to bet.
No.
Oh, he bet on his team to win.
Who was it?
So did Pete Rose. He's not even fucking allowed to touch baseball.
He's an NFL player. I forget who it was or where I saw it, but he said he thinks oh, we can go out there and risk our life, but we can't risk our money on a couple games. And he's in the NFL.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, motherfucker, you're getting paid millions of dollars.
What are you talking about?
It
makes no
risk your
sense.
Money on another sport, idiot.
Yeah,
right.
You're risking your life doing the work you're doing. I just don't get it. Yeah, those arguments. It's you could make that argument if you weren't being compensated for what you're doing.
Exactly.
You're being compensated handsomely to go out there and play a game. And the guy, if I remember correct, was it Rodgers for the Colts?
Yeah.
You're not that fucking good,
Isaiah
dude.
Rodgers, yeah.
You're not you're probably making millions, and you don't even have to be the best in the fucking league. So I don't know.
The most notable one I think was from Detroit.
Jameson Williams. But he bet on a different sport, so that's why he only got 6 games. He didn't bet on football.
Yeah, and
I don't really.
They
see
were
a
trying to
problem with
appeal that because he apparently placed the bet at the team's facility,
Yes.
which is prohibited.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw that. Yeah.
And that's where it's just don't be dumb.
Well,
But
if you know the rule,
They were trying
Yeah.
to say, or his representation was trying to say that that wasn't the case, but I don't know whatever came of
Well,
it.
I saw one guy. So the thing was, it may have been Rodgers from the Colts. He was betting consistently like $50 on games.
I saw that.
And then there was one bet he bet $1,000 on the over rushing yards prop.
in the game.
So the problem with that, if I'm the sports book, I'm going, okay, this motherfucker knows that guy, and he might be like, hey, game plan, they're going to feed me the ball a little bit more than normal. And you go,
I'm pretty
okay,
sure
over
it was
12 and a half
him.
rushing yards. Like,
I'm pretty sure it was Jonathan Taylor.
oh, I don't know.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know who it was. I just saw that it
It's
was
like
on.
you
I
know
think it
what
was a
your
rushing
team's
yards
game
prop.
plan is.
Yeah,
That's
you-
why that's a problem.
I really don't even see the controversy or the debate about it. It's kind of like what I always said. Like, if you know somebody on the team personnel
Yeah.
of a team that's in the Super Bowl, you ask them what color the fucking Gatorade's going to be. And you have an inside edge to where you pretty much know for sure, unless this motherfucker gets hurt, like if it's 12 and a half rushing yards for Gainwell or whatever the hell the Super Bowl prop was, yeah, actually, typically I get 4 carries. They told me they're going to feed me this week. It's like, okay, I'll go over your rushing yard total because they don't know. The books don't know that they're going to feed you this week. Like, that's the plan. I don't understand. The people just like to complain, but it's also people that don't have a dog in the race. It's like fucking regular people on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, this is bullshit. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up. Pete Rose is out there as a manager betting on his team. Granted, he said he never bet on his team to lose, but you just it's the same shit. You open that box, and now it's like, well, okay, like, it's just a fuck. You're on a dog shit team and you know you're gonna lose. I'm betting against us. Like, it's just a bad precedent to allow. You just can't open that box. You just can't. And I'm worried. Like, if they don't stop fucking betting on it, it's gonna they're gonna have to do something. And I don't know what that consists of. But I don't know. I didn't like when. I was conflicted on when they came out and like made it so mainstream now to bet on games. Everything's about betting now. They have the lines on anytime you see, okay, the fucking Saints are playing the Falcons, you have the spread there, you have the over under. It never used to be like that. So it's kind of weird now. It was kind of like almost like a what's the word, niche fucking like group of people, and it used to not be talked about. It used to kind of be like whispered, like, yeah, I'm betting. Like, but now everybody, are you betting this game? Are you betting that game? People that have no idea what the fuck they're doing and should be listening to this podcast are betting on games. So I don't know. I don't really get the debate. I don't even think it should be a debate. You can't bet on the games. You don't need to bet on the games. Why are you betting fucking $50 parlays when you're making millions of dollars to play football?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's just, go play blackjack or something. Like, you could fucking scratch the itch way more doing that.
Right.
Betting on the game that you play is just odd to me. What else? Anything else? Wasn't a ton.
No.
We're getting close. We've entered into the month of July. Tomorrow is actually the 4th of July.
Happy 4th.
Yes, happy 4th. Unless you hate America. Then it's not a happy 4th. France is burning to the ground. Did you see that?
No.
Yep. Burning to the ground. Literally. They're having their take on riots, and it's like a whole thing. Like, it's bad.
What do you think?
Well, he's not really on social media that much, so he probably didn't know.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, they're burning it to the ground.
Overrides.
Yeah, I don't know specifically what happened.
I think it's stupid. I mean, what else can you think?
Yeah, but you can't necessarily think it's stupid if you don't know what it's about yet.
I think it's stupid to get violent.
What if they burn down a Catholic church?
Stupid.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Burn down
it is.
anything.
It
is
is.
stupid.
No, but what if they're retaliating now because they attacked the church?
Stupid.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I don't really know the specifics of it, all the details. I just know that they are burning the city to the ground. All right, let's get into some future bets. Episode 157. Again, go subscribe to the YouTube page. This is going to be... Yeah, I'm going to try to figure out what's the best route to... Okay, we're going to start with... I'm going to kind of go through a couple key transfers that I felt were noteworthy. Most people are not going to really look into who went where in the new landscape of college football. So I tried to do my due diligence for you listening right now. I'm just going to list it off. So obviously Sam Hartman went from Wake Forest to Notre Dame. In turn, Tyler Buckner is now he transferred from Notre Dame to Alabama. Don't really care if I'm a Notre Dame fan, I wouldn't really give a shit, because if you watch the spring game or any last season, Tyler Buckner's not very good. In the spring game, he got strip sacked on his first drive. He threw a bad interception. He's not really that good of a player. Do you think he starts at Alabama?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Really?
Over Milroe?
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Do you
I've
know
been
that?
seeing
Like, I
is
have
Jalen.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, but I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, he wasn't there in the spring, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
they'll have to figure that out in the fall.
Do you think that's because you think he could be decent, or you think Milroe's that bad of a passer?
I just think it's the style that Alabama's going to go back to,
Yeah.
kind of before Bryce Young, Mac Jones, and Tua. They're more of a kind of
Lean on
manage the
lean on the
game
run.
and run the ball, play good defense,
Yeah.
which will be interesting to see how that works out for him, because we'll get there on their win total and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Okay, well, I mean, so what are your thoughts on Buckner? You think he's decent?
no,
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, I think he's fucking trash. I watched him in the spring game, dude. He sucks. Like,
Yeah.
And this is a Notre Dame defense that might kind of regress a little bit compared to what, like, they don't have Foskey anymore. Shout out, he's on the Saints now.
Mm-hmm.
There's some questions on the D line for sure. His pocket awareness looked bad, and it's in the spring game, so it's like it shouldn't really look that bad. I don't think it's that big of a loss for him at all. Obviously, Sam Hartman, it was going to be the starter, no doubt about it. Eric Gilbert, transferring again. Do you know where?
No.
Going to Nebraska.
Oh, come on.
Maybe he'll play a game.
Yeah.
We're on game watch for Eric Gilbert. Will he play a game? Can he pass a test to get on the field? Don't know. I had the highest of hopes for him when he was coming to LSU. And then,
Yeah, he played well when he did.
yeah,
And then he just was like,
fuck school. I ain't here to play school.
he's like, I'm tired of this. And he quit mid-season, huh?
Went back home, never played there because he decided to go to the fucking tight end university.
Yeah.
Trey Potts, you remember him, the backup for Ibrahim at Minnesota?
Yeah.
He is now going to Penn State. Who's already got a loaded running back.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that goes. J. Michael Sturdivant, best wide receiver for Cal. He went to UCLA. Cal cleaned house. Plummer's out too.
Mm-hmm.
Plummer went to Louisville. So that's actually interesting too, because he got recruited by Brom at Purdue, right? That's where
Yeah.
Brom just came from. He got recruited by Brom, went there, and then Aiden O'Connell was obviously going to be the starter, so he transferred, and now he's back. I think he's fifth-year senior. So he transferred to Louisville, followed Brom. Brennan Armstrong, out of Virginia, NC State. And then speaking of NC State, Devin Leary has gone from NC State to Kentucky, which I'm really interested to see how that fit is. Obviously, Levis is going for Kentucky. Let's see. Nick Evers, the backup to C.J. Stroud last year, the quarterback, Nick Evers, I think he was a 5-star, went to Wisconsin. So he's taken over for Graham Mertz, who is at Florida now, which I know you already knew that, but for anybody who didn't know, Graham Mertz, dog shit quarterback from Wisconsin, only had one good game, and I'll never forget it, against Illinois, his first ever game. He is now at the University of Florida. Used to be at the University of Florida was Emory Jones, then he went to Arizona State, now he's at Cincinnati. So, and then they had Ben Bryant, who I don't know where he went, but he's not at Cincinnati anymore. Hank Bachmeier, one of my all-time favorites. From Boise State to Louisiana Tech. Obviously, he sat out. It was clear and obvious he was going to transfer. He ended up, after they went 2-2 to start the season, he got benched. So it was clear he was on his way out. Cade McNamara has gone from Michigan to Iowa. Phil Djokovic, I'm interested in this. Boston College transferred to Pitt because Slovis is out, I believe. I think Slovis went to, what did I say? He went to BYU.
Yeah.
Slovis went to BYU. So, dude, Djokovic was the guy who they had high hopes, like dual threat guy at Boston College. They felt like he could possibly even turn into like a professional prospect. I'm interested to see if he can do something at Pitt because they're going to have a good defense with Narduzzi. Tanner Mordecai. You remember him from SMU? He was at SMU, right? And then he went to Oklahoma?
He was there. He was at SMU last year.
Are you positive? I think he transferred to he transferred to Oklahoma, I think. After SMU.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure. No, he was SMU's quarterback last year.
I thought he was.
Let me see. Did he transfer from Oklahoma first?
Maybe a while ago.
Yeah. Well, he is at Wisconsin.
And who else went to Wisconsin?
Nick Evers.
Okay.
So that's interesting. I don't know who's going to start. I was looking at it.
Yeah.
I don't know. They haven't really. They could have. Maybe I didn't see it. But Hudson Card from Texas went to Purdue, and then DJ Ungalele, your favorite, Clemson, Oregon State. We already knew that. Okay, yeah, here we go. Keaton Slovis, Pitt to BYU, and that was it. So a lot of notable names kind of hit the carousel that is the transfer portal. So it's gonna look a little different. Grayson McCall, snip snap was in the portal, out the portal, in the portal, back home to Coastal Carolina. But Jamie Chatwell where'd he go?
Liberty.
Yes, and then Hugh Freeze went to Auburn.
Yeah.
Yes. See, we're the wheels are in motion. So, all right, how do you want to go about it? How do you want to start? You want to go?
I guess we can go conference by conference.
Okay. Let's do the Power 5 last, I guess.
Okay.
Let's start with fan favorite. I'll start with the American. So let me pull it up first. All right, I'm looking at Tulane. Tulane lost a lot of production. They lost a lot of their top tacklers. They lost some people on the outside. Obviously, they lost Tajay Spears, but they still have Michael Pratt, and they have a pretty easy schedule. Their over-under win total sits at 9. I have gone back and forth, but I'm taking the over 9. So I was looking at 9.5, and it made it a little bit more difficult, but you have to shop around if you're going to do these win totals because Caesars has drastically different odds than FanDuel, etc. If you go to Caesars, you can get over 9 wins for minus 140 right now. That's what I took. If you look at the schedule, obviously the toughest game is week 2 so far. I mean, really, probably all season. Their toughest game is Ole Miss. They get them at home. It's a team with a ton of expectations after what happened last year. Just kept winning. The improbable comeback against USC. But you got South Alabama, at Southern Miss, Nichols, UAB. Memphis on the road is going to be tough. North Texas, at Rice, at ECU, Tulsa, Florida Atlantic, and UTSA is going to be tough. So if you go 9-3, we push. You got Ole Miss, you got Memphis, you got UTSA. Those are the most losable games, I would think. I could see them beating UTSA, certainly. I could see them beating just about everybody, with the exception of Ole Miss. I don't think they're not going to beat Ole Miss. I would be surprised. That would be a very good win for them. On the road to Memphis worries me. I would say, I think I texted you. I was looking for any reason to take the under. I'm going over 9 wins. So if we hit on 9, we'll take a push. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm on the over as well. But like you said, Michael Pratt returning. I think this will be his third full year as a starter. This is the team that beat USC. And what bowl game was it?
Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
I was on Tulane, and I remember, dude, it was an improbable comeback. It was an improbable comeback down the stretch. Like, the fact that they pulled it off was, like, one of the biggest wins of the season.
Down 12 with a little bit above 2 minutes.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. No, it was – what did USC do? Did they kick it out of bounds? They did something on the kickoff that they shouldn't have fucking done.
Yes, kicked it out of bounds.
And it cost them the game.
Yeah. I just watched the highlights the other night.
Yeah. That was – I was watching it on my phone as I was leaving Hattiesburg, and I was like, holy shit.
Tajay Spears just played out of his mind.
Oh, he's a stud, dude. He's a stud. All right, what are your thoughts? You said you're taking over?
Yeah, like you said, they do lose some production on the defensive side, and then their best players, their running back Tajay Spears, but they're returning 4 of their 5 offensive linemen and all 4 defensive linemen.
Mm-hmm. That's the big thing.
That's
offensive
the big
line
thing right there.
Yes.
When you're returning everybody in the trenches, you can expect production to kind of stay the same, and you replace some of those other guys. And then, like you said, the schedule is relatively weak other than Ole Miss, which I wouldn't be surprised if they upset Ole Miss.
It's possible, but I think the line's out for it. I think they're at least a touchdown underdog.
Yeah. I probably like 7 to 9 points, something like that.
Yeah.
But, the key thing is that the game's going to be played at home for Tulane, so they should be able to fill up the stadium
after last season. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be. Yeah, it's not the biggest stadium in the world, but I think you even said we should go to the game.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'm definitely down. 2:30 on a Saturday.
But yeah, the big thing for me here is returning a lot of those guys in the trenches, almost all of them except for one.
Mm-hmm.
Over 9 or over 9.5, depending on how much juice you want to lay.
Yeah, I laid like I said minus 140 on Caesars for 9 wins. So I'll lay it, and then I mean, looking at the schedule, it's I think worst case scenario they go 9-3.
Yeah.
So, and that's if, I mean, anything can happen along the way, but if they do pull off the upset win over Ole Miss, fucking straight to the bank.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go to.
I know I don't have any win totals
Yep.
for non-Power 5. I only have win totals for Power 5, but I'm going to add Tulane.
Okay.
I'm going to ride that with y'all.
Okay. I am.
But I'm on FanDuel, so I only have the halves. Like everything's and a half, 9.5.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So,
I'm
Caesars.
going to go 9.5. I'm going to go over 9.5.
Okay. Yeah, Caesars had 9. Let's see. All right, we'll go to Conference USA. Do you have anything for this one?
I should.
I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, you go first.
All right, we're laying heavy juice here. Louisiana Tech over 5.5 wins, minus 170. Louisiana Tech hit multiple home runs in the transfer portal, obviously with Bachmeier close to my heart, always will be, even after a rough patch over the start of last season and the end of the season before that. But they got Squirrel Williams, running back from Baylor, who looked impressive at times playing in the Big 12, mainly against Oklahoma. You're now going to Conference USA, where the talent is a little bit easier. I think they had like the 73rd best recruiting class, which is like a far and away the best Louisiana Tech has ever done. They have a pretty favorable schedule in a weak conference. I think they're going to have one of the better quarterbacks in the conference in Hank Bachmeier, who, when he's playing as good as he can, he has the potential to be one of the upper tier quarterbacks in the country. We saw a lot of regression at the start of last season. Maybe a change of scenery will be good for him. I'm going over 5.5 wins. We're laying heavy juice, but I got to ride with my guy. So what are you taking? Anything?
Yeah, I'm on the same thing as you. You mentioned it, weak schedule. This conference has kind of fell apart a little bit with some of the teams moving on, and then they get Sam Houston and Jacksonville State coming in from the FCS level, and Louisiana Tech gets to play both of those as their last 2 games of the year. But another bet I would be willing to take is Liberty over 8.5 wins, minus 134 on FanDuel. For basically a lot of the same reasons. Over the past few years, when Liberty was under Hugh Freeze and they were an independent, they had a much tougher schedule than what they're going to be dealing with now in Conference USA.
Mm-hmm.
But with Jamie Chadwell going there, they had some good players. I know there's still some question marks at quarterback, but it'll be interesting to see what the offense looks like and how much of what we saw at Coastal Carolina will be implemented at Liberty. But just overall, looking at their schedule, their non-conference schedule isn't really tough. They get to play Bowling Green, Buffalo, two MAC teams. I mean, and then you get the Conference USA, which is probably the second weakest conference behind the MAC.
Yeah. You hate.
So I'm going over 8.5 wins, minus 134 for Liberty.
Okay. Alrighty, let's see. All right, we'll go to you spoke about it. We will go to the MAC next. Another team I like. It's gonna be a trending topic, but Central Michigan over 5.5 wins. It's even money. So Jim McElwain came in year one, led them to 9-4 record with a bowl win. A lot of regression year two, 4-8. Richardson, the short and hefty quarterback, has transferred to FAU. Lou Nichols, one of the best running backs in the country, even though he did have a fumbling issue, he's on to the NFL. So they ran a 2-quarterback system down the stretch. They'll probably run a little bit of a 2-quarterback system going into this season, depending. But somebody named Burt Emanuel Jr. Asserted himself as a dynamic runner on the ground. So much so, it was a game I was on. I think it was the third to last game of the season against Buffalo. They were down big, and then he just went absolutely crazy. He just started running. They couldn't stop him. He ran by everybody to the tune of 24 carries, 293 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's a dynamic runner. I don't have a fucking clue if he can throw because he threw 8 times. Mm-hmm. So, in like 4 games. So, I'm going over 5.5 wins because it's the MAC. Stupid shit happens in the MAC, but it's always cold. It's always sloppy football. They can lean. I'm putting faith in McElwain to get back to a little bit of what he did year one where they went 9-4. But they always have receivers too. They always put a receiver in the NFL. They always have guys on the outside, it seems. But I think I'm hoping. I mean, realistically, I have them winning 6 games. So you're gonna give me even money at 5.5. I'll take it. I'm hoping Jim McElwain can manufacture his offense around Burt Emanuel Jr. That game against Buffalo was the wildest shit I've ever seen. It was an incredible comeback, and he took one like 85 yards to the house.
Yeah.
So I'm going over 5.5.
I remember I bet on Central Michigan against Eastern Michigan, and no good. I mean, they just because since he didn't throw a lot,
Yeah.
they just stacked the line, and then dude, when they put the other guy in, shit got really bad.
Yeah, I know. So,
but it was like it was a lot of bad luck for Central Michigan because they weren't really able to run the ball. But then when they did try to throw, it's like bad things happened specifically in that game. But
yeah.
no, he's a guy, man. He had like 280 rushing yards one game, huh?
That's what I said. Yeah, 293 yards. 3
Oh,
touchdowns.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's the story I just went into against Buffalo. Welcome back.
He was focused on what he was saying.
Are you taking anything in the MAC? I know
No.
you hate the MAC. All right, let's go to the Mountain West. Again.
There's only one thing you got, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going over 7.5 wins for the Boise State Blue Broncos. All right, they went 9-3 regular season. Once Taylon Green took over, they finished 7-1. Again, another guy, very similar to Burt Emanuel Jr. He can't fucking throw. They were 2-2 with Bachmeier. Taylon Green takes over. They go 7-1. Andy Avalos will get him back to at least 9 wins, I think. So it is, you got to lay juice, minus 160. Let me pull the schedule up. There's a couple games in there that are going to be tough. You open the season going on the road to Washington. Tough. UCF, tough. But you got North Dakota, at San Diego State, at Memphis is tough. But San Jose State, Colorado State, you got Wyoming at home, at Fresno State. Don't even know who's taking over at quarterback for Fresno with Hainer gone. The backup wasn't good. Is it Logan Fife?
He's not projected to start from what I just saw.
Is that his fucking name, though? If I could remember that was pretty good.
That might be him.
I think he's a transfer.
But you need to hit 8 wins. You got Utah State, New Mexico, Fresno, Wyoming, Colorado State, San Jose State, San Diego State, North Dakota, and then Air Force.
Tough.
Yeah, Air Force is tough, but you get them at home. I don't know. I think we're gonna see. You get another year of experience with Taylor Green. There's no quarterback controversy now. It's not who's going to start. I think we see him take a little bit of a jump here. And I believe in Andy Avalos. So I'm going over. Over 7.5 wins for Boise State. You got anything for the Mountain West?
Yeah, San Diego State, the over-under for the win total is 6.5. Just over the years, they've been known for their defense and special teams and running the football. Last year, they weren't really able to run the football that well. And on defense, there's some concerns on the front seven. Somewhat of a tough schedule. They got to play UCLA, and then all the teams in the Mountain West, Boise State, Air Force, Fresno State. I'm going under 6.5 wins plus 110.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything for the Sunbelt? I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it away.
Georgia State, the over-under is 5.5. They're returning their quarterback that you've probably seen play. Darren Granger has some experience. I think this will be his third full year under center. I think they'll be a little bit better running the football this year, and Granger's obviously a key part of that. He led the team in rushing last year.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of showed some flashes as a passer when not put in terrible situations like third and long.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be improved in that aspect. And then you look at the schedule. They start off the year, they play Rhode Island, they play UConn, they play Charlotte, all before getting into the tough Sunbelt schedule. I'm going to go over 5.5 wins for the Georgia State Panthers plus 138.
So you're expecting them to start out 3-0. Then you go to Coastal. Yeah.
They return McCall, but it's a new coach.
Yeah, new regime.
And then defensively last year, Coastal was
fucking terrible. Yeah. It was
Swiss
nauseatingly bad.
JMU put up 47 on them.
Yeah. So then you've got Troy.
Who defensively, Troy lost some talent.
Yeah. Troy was decent last year, though. Marshall
should be good again, I think.
Yeah, they're losing some people, though. Is Fancher going to be the quarterback?
Yeah.
Then you go to UL, which is...
I would expect them to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Under the second-year coach, but...
Yeah, what's his last name? Something Robichaud?
It's a Cajun name, yeah.
Arsenault, something like that. Then you go to Georgia Southern. Then you got JMU at home, App State at home. Those are two going to be tough games, but I don't know who the fuck's the quarterback for App State. Bryce is gone, right?
Yep.
I don't even know who it's going to be. On the road against LSU. Hopefully that's a loss. And then on the road against Old Dominion. So you're expecting 3-0. You got 5 or 5.5?
5.5.
So you need to find 3 wins from Troy, Marshall, UL, Georgia Southern, James Madison, App State, LSU, and Old Dominion. I may take it as well. I'll wait and see. But
when's the LSU matchup with them?
End of the season, November 18th.
And what's the line?
No fucking idea. I'm sure it's like 30.
I mean, what's the win line?
5.5.
5.5. Oh, what if they have 5 wins?
Oh,
I mean, playing LSU. Who are you rooting for? LSU's out of contention. LSU's out of contention.
They still got Old Dominion for the last game.
Yeah, at the very
year.
end. Yeah. Yeah, I'll hold off, but yeah, I very well might take it as well. And then that's it for the group of 5, right? Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to. I do not have anything for.
Wait, I got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Clarify independent for me.
It means a team that's not part of a conference,
they're just not
Notre
committed
Dame.
to any conference.
Yeah, like Notre Dame.
But Notre Dame wasn't ever ACC.
I think they piggybacked off the ACC the COVID year, right?
Yeah, they played ACC schedule.
And then I think they're probably going to join the Big Ten. Weren't they talking about that?
Yeah.
So, but currently they're independent currently. So let's go Pac-12 first. Do you have anything for the Pac-12?
Not right now.
Okay. I am going under 3.5 wins for Colorado.
I was waiting to hear about Colorado.
Deion Sanders is in town. He's fighting to maintain the stability of his foot, and he might lose it in surgery. So I think he's done. I think he kept it, but they're like, he might lose his foot.
Uh-huh.
Tough to form a game plan for the season when you might lose your foot. They were 1-11 last season. Completely new overhaul, coaching as well as players. Half the team transferred after the spring game. So anybody who stood out in the spring game seemed to have said, fuck this, I'm out. 1-11 last season. They only beat Cal, a bottom of the barrel Pac-12 school. Looking at their schedule, which I should have already pulled up. Let's see.
It's pretty tough.
So let's see. So breaking it down. The main winnable games for me, if you look at their schedule, Stanford and Colorado State.
Arizona, huh?
Arizona was good last year.
Yeah, they were decent, yeah.
Arizona's a much improved Arizona team than what they've used to be.
But I mean winnable, though.
You could call it winnable, but I don't think they beat Arizona. It would fall under the category, I guess.
Yeah.
Looking at their schedule as a whole. I mean,
but it's not a game you think they win.
I wouldn't think so, because Arizona was not bad last year. If you really look at the numbers and what they were able to do offensively.
Yeah, they did have a good offense.
Week 1, they go to TCU. Understand Duggan's gone, Kendre Miller's gone, Quentin Johnson's gone, a ton of production's gone. There's not a fucking snowball chance in hell that Colorado upsets TCU week 1. I would be shocked. Then you got Nebraska at home. But then you go, after Colorado State, you got to go to Oregon, loss. Against USC, loss. At Arizona State, you could throw that in as a potential winnable game. Obviously, Stanford is going to be not good. So, very winnable game there. At UCLA, loss. Oregon State, loss. Arizona, loss. You close out the season going to Washington State, and then you go to Utah.
Loss.
Under 3.5 wins. They maybe get 3. So I'm taking Colorado under 3.5 wins. It's just, and it's not even necessarily going to be a knock on Dion. You come in, he said he's bringing his Louis Vuitton luggage. All the players are like, does that mean we are fucking out of a job? So they start looking around. A lot of people left. So also am not really sold on Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to be decent?
I don't know.
I think he's overhyped because he's Dion's kid.
I mean,
I think
helps being in the Pac-12 where they don't cover anybody.
That's true. That is true. But yeah, they never even won a championship.
Yeah.
At Jackson State.
Well, the kid's obviously talented. It's just,
but we don't know that
yet.
yet.
Anybody yet?
Yeah, but so we don't know that he might be Jackson State talented,
right?
But I think he gets a little bit more shine because he's Dion's kid.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He could be good enough. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. And if you can't do it in the Pac-12, you certainly can't do it in the SEC or the Big Ten or anywhere else. So, yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the side I would lean is under. I mean, I don't know what you expect them to do.
Yeah. No, it's going to be tough to come in and have success year 1.
Yeah.
So, and then when you lose that many players after spring.
Well, they were kicking them. They were kicking everybody out.
But then a lot of people, they were. They were. But a lot of people, too, were a lot of people that looked good in the spring game.
Yeah.
Transferred out. Couple weapons on the outside. I would be surprised if they go over there. If they win 4 games, I don't know where they're gonna get them, because I mean, look at the teams you have to go on the road to play: Utah, Washington State, UCLA, Oregon, TCU. Those are all losses. If they upset any one of them, that'd be a huge accomplishment. I don't see it. If they upset any one of them, we're fucked, more than likely. So I don't think it's gonna happen though. So I'm going under 3.5 wins, Colorado. Do you have anything for the Pac-12?
I'm thinking about taking the over 9.5 with USC.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Oregon.
Nah.
I don't even know if it's 9.5, but I would assume it's probably around that.
It's close to that, 9 or 9.5 for Oregon.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're laying big juice here, minus 188. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if they can even come close to running the table over there.
Like what do you mean? You think they will?
USC, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the schedule, obviously
they got Notre Dame on the road, which that's going to be their toughest game.
Yes.
And then Oregon on the road is their second toughest game.
Yeah, I mean, they get Washington and UCLA at home.
Yeah.
So Cal's trash. You get Utah at home as well.
Mm-hmm. And Utah, I don't know how good.
Yeah, they might not be as good as they have been, but they'll still be probably at least a middle of the pack team, Pac-12 wise. But yeah, Stanford, Nevada, San Jose State. Realistically, they could run the table, certainly. You're going to see, I don't even know who's playing quarterback for UCLA. Dorian Thompson-Robinson's gone.
I forget the guy's name.
It's 9.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think at worst they go 10-2. That's if they lose to Notre Dame, which they might not. And then that Oregon game will be very interesting, depending on how the season develops, because it's at the very end. But that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Yeah, I don't. What are the odds on it? Oh, you said
minus
you lay heavy
188.
juice. Okay. Let's see. All right, so we're good on the Pac-12. Let's go to. I mean, I'm going to look like a homer. I'm going to the SEC. I'm taking over LSU 9.5. You're going to find out very, very, very soon. The first game, you're going to find out the likelihood of this bet hitting. We're going to have to beat Florida State to do it. We're 3-point favorites in the game. Obviously, can go either way. 9.5 wins. Obviously, Alabama is going to be an interesting one. But when you look at, obviously, the SEC schedule is always tough. I get it. 9.5 wins at minus 115, though. I'm going to take the over. You do have to go on the road to play Ole Miss. We're going to Missouri, which who gives a shit, but you got to go to Alabama. I think worst case scenario, we're 10-2. That's if we lose to Florida State. If you beat Florida State, I mean, we got to go to Mississippi State, but doesn't scare me. Florida sucks. Georgia State, A&M. You get Auburn at home. Arkansas at home. I'm going over 9.5 wins, minus 115.
Yeah, I would go over 9.5 as well, because their toughest game, in my opinion, is other than Alabama is going to be Florida State.
Yeah, and
if you lose both of them,
yep,
you win every other one. That equals 10.
Yeah, yes, it does. But I mean, you win week one. The likelihood of it cashing goes up tremendously. Yeah. So it's always tough with an SEC schedule. But you giving me minus 115 for over 9.5 wins, I'll take it. Okay. Let's go.
I have more for the SEC.
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
So, yeah, I'm going to be on the LSU over 9.5. And then Alabama, the win total is 10.5. The under's the heavy favorite. I think when you just look at the schedule, they got to play Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They get to play Texas, though. They're playing in Alabama, and they also get to play LSU in Alabama, which is interesting. I just don't know what they're going to be able to do at the quarterback position. Yeah, I just don't know if reverting to that style of play is going to really work.
Yeah, you kind of try. It never typically seems to work when you go back to, like, the game has moved on. You have to keep evolving with the game, or I feel like you get left in the dust. And
Bryce Young kept them in so many games
that,
honestly, if they had any other quarterback in the country, they probably would lose those games.
Yeah, the last drive against Texas, they should have lost that game. So Nick Saban coming out like, oh, we were favored against the teams in the college football playoff. It's like, shut the fuck up, Nick. If Ewers doesn't get hurt, you probably don't even beat Texas. I'm very interested. I think Texas is a 7-point underdog. What's that, week 2? I think it's like the second week they play.
Yeah, week 2.
That's going to be, dude, that's going to be a game. That's going to be, I have high hopes for Texas. I think Texas is going to be good.
Yeah.
This is going to be the best they've been in quite some time. With the weapons, with Worthy coming back, if Ewers can stay healthy, that game's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see if the line moves. Right now at a touchdown underdog with the question marks around Alabama and the security that is Texas's offense with everybody coming back, we'll see.
Yeah. They also get Tennessee, which is their third toughest opponent. They play Tennessee at home as well, so that's kind of a little bit alarming because the best teams they play, they get to play in Alabama.
Mm-hmm. But
I'm gonna go with the under 10.5, minus 184. I wouldn't be surprised if you could find better better price.
Yeah, I mean the regime's got to come to an end eventually. So we're seeing the stones have been falling off the castle for a little while now. So,
And then Georgia, 11.5, taking the over plus 116.
are you?
Yeah.
You got them running the table.
Yeah.
I'm on the under.
Interesting.
I think they slip one.
Let me see.
They have a
They
fairly
do have an
easy schedule.
I think they slip one against one of those SEC teams.
Yeah, let me see. Let me pull it up. My whole thing is I just don't know much about Carson Beck.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're the clear-cut favorite to win the national championship again. That'd be 3 in a row.
Yeah, first
Yeah.
time since Minnesota in the 60s.
They're going to win.
I mean, who the fuck is going to beat them when you look at it? UT Martin, Ball State, South Carolina at home, UAB. They have to go to Auburn, but who gives a shit? That was another one I didn't mention. Peyton Thorne. Isn't that what I told you? Peyton Thorne's at Auburn. And then who was why am I drawing a blank? What's his name? Rashford? Was that his last name?
Yeah.
Robbie Rashford or whatever, the scrambling quarterback who can't throw for shit. They have quarterback problems. They're not beating Georgia. Kentucky at home, go to Vanderbilt, win, to Florida, win. At home against Missouri, at home against Ole Miss. You go to Tennessee, which I don't give a shit about Tennessee, dude. But I was higher on Hendon Hooker than most. I was higher on Hendon Hooker than you, certainly. I think we see regression out of Tennessee. Then you go
they lost a lot.
Then you go, a lot of receiver production. Yeah. So it's like, we were talking about that. Is it the system? So if it's the system, it's like they lost a lot of key pieces in that system. So I don't know. They may have guys stepping up on the outside that I don't know about. But I think we see regression out of Tennessee. And then at Georgia Tech, they don't fucking play anybody. Who's the best team they play? Florida?
Tennessee.
Yeah,
in Tennessee? Yeah, I don't know.
They're going 12-0 to the SEC championship, and their only chance to lose will be there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think because I almost took Tennessee's under win total. But then Florida, you got Mertz at quarterback. Obviously, I'm not high on Mertz. Auburn has nobody right now. I understand Hugh Freeze is coming in. We'll see how they can turn, if they can right the ship that Brian Harsin drove them right into an iceberg. Kentucky, I think, could be solid, but not enough to. Which I think Kentucky gave them a little bit of a scare last year. But
yeah,
the only thing is the question marks around Carson Beck. I just don't know. I don't know really anything about him. So, but yeah, looking at the schedule, they don't fucking play anybody. So, yeah. What are the odds?
Oh, plus 116
to run the table. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, are they just going to reload every year on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah.
Like,
they've been recruiting.
Dude, I know.
They've been having top recruiting.
I don't know. It's when.
I mean, they lost
they just lose their entire defense every fucking year.
Last year to the draft.
Yeah.
And then they were
and they're still the clear-cut favorite to win it all.
And then they still won all the games.
Yeah. But then they lost a shitload of players again. That's what I'm saying. So teams, the Eagles just come in and draft their entire defense year after year. Yeah, I didn't even really look at them, if I'm being completely honest. But looking at the schedule, I mean, who do you think they fall to?
One of those three.
Okay.
Florida, Auburn, or Tennessee.
There's no fucking shot in hell Auburn wins. I would fucking... Peyton, I mean,
they're gonna play good defense. They're still gonna be able to run the ball. It's gonna be just like
we've talked about year. Peyton Thorne. You were slightly higher on him than I was. I fucking hated that motherfucker. I don't think he's coming to the SEC to do a damn thing because he had good receivers at Michigan State and couldn't do shit. So, and then Rashford, if that's even his fucking last name, dynamic on the feet, but had a lot of injury problems because he runs a lot and takes a lot of hits and can't throw. So. And Georgia will fucking take his head off. I think it's an interesting bet to get plus money on it too. I wonder who do they think they're going to lose to? They're not going to be underdogs to anybody.
No.
On this schedule. I wonder who. Yeah, I don't know. I don't hate it. I mean, it's tough to fucking go undefeated, obviously.
That's the reason that's plus odds.
Yeah, but it's only, would you
3
say
years
plus
in a row,
116?
trying to three-peat.
Plus 116 ain't.
I mean, I'm not saying they.
That, yeah, that mean they win the
I'm
national
just saying
championship.
I get
their
it.
regular season schedule is.
Yeah, easy.
Let's see,
Easiest
what
in
was.
SEC, that's for sure.
Let's see, what they have last year. Last year, they had to play us, but that was they opened the season with Oregon last year, beat the dog shit out of them. Obviously, Oregon had to kind of get their fucking feet wet with Dan Lanning. You had to go on the road to South Carolina, on the road to Missouri. They played Tennessee, who was number 1 at the time, which is kind of crazy. They have a 1 by their name. I don't necessarily recall. They had to go on the road to Kentucky. 16-6. Yeah, I mean, they didn't really have a tough schedule last year either. The West is obviously better than the East.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely, I mean, the only, their schedule's easy as is, but I think the 2 toughest teams last year was Tennessee and Oregon, obviously. Tennessee's not as good this year. They will regress, in my opinion. And then you don't have an Oregon on the schedule. You don't have a team that was number 11 coming into the season to open it. They're opening up with UT Martin. So, yeah, I don't hate it. So, all right, let's go to the ace. Go ahead.
Real quick, I forgot to give up my Pac-12. Real quick. I'm going to go to Washington. I'm going under 9.5 wins.
Okay.
Although I do like them.
Well, how much?
I like Penix.
Yeah.
I think he's a dual threat quarterback, but he's very good in the pocket, and he's got a really good arm. They have such a tough schedule. I think they have the toughest schedule by far in the Pac-12, and I think they lose at least 3 of those games.
It's 9.5.
Yeah. You got Oregon, USC, Utah, Oregon State with Ukulele, Washington State, who always is tough and battles them, and then out of conference you got Boise State and Michigan State.
Yeah.
So I think out of those they lose at least 3 of them.
Yeah.
But they're a good team though.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just the schedule's so
Penix
tough.
is up there for Heisman odds, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, opening the season against Boise, that'll answer some questions. But yeah, Tulsa, Michigan State, Cal sucks. Arizona on the road, they got to go to Arizona.
Which I kind of just in my mind, I
Got to go to on the road to play USC. Stanford sucks, but yeah, on the road against Oregon State, it's always tough to go win in Corvallis. Yeah, I don't know. I don't hate it. I haven't really looked into it, but all right, let's go to ACC. So, another team that I like quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
The Duke Blue Devils.
Oh.
Who'd you think it was? Who'd you think?
Florida State.
No, fuck no. I mean, they're going to be good, but
Yeah.
Duke over under 6.5 wins. I'm going under. I like Mike Elko a lot. He exceeded every expectation year 1. 9-4 with a bowl win. I love Riley Leonard. I've said it on this podcast last year. I'll follow Riley Leonard to the ends of the earth. But this is a much different Duke football schedule than what we saw last year. Let's see. So yeah, last year 9-4. On the road, who was their best? 3 of the 4 losses that they had were on the road. When you look at who their best win was, and let me pull up the schedule because I just refuse to do it before I start talking about it. This year, so hold on. God damn it. They know nobody wants a fucking football schedule. Give me a second. All right, I'm pulling up last year's schedule first. Last year, they, like I said, they go 9-4. They beat UCF in the bowl game. They got a win against Temple, Northwestern, North Carolina A&T. They started out 3-0. Then they had to go on the road to play Kansas, which this was an improbable half-point cover for me. They go on the road to play Kansas. That was obviously the Cinderella of last year. But then they had Virginia, Georgia Tech, North Carolina. They lost both of those. On the road against Miami, but it was a trash Miami team, one of the worst in the history of the program. Boston College, Virginia Tech, Pitt, Wake Forest. Their losses were at Pitt, at Georgia Tech, at Kansas, and then they lost against North Carolina in a very close game. You fast forward to now we're coming into this season. You've got opening the season against Clemson. Then you go You play Notre Dame. You have to play Florida State on the road. You have to play a much improved we're anticipating a better Louisville team on the road. You got to play North Carolina on the road. You still got to play Pitt, Wake Forest. Not really entirely sure what Wake Forest is going to do without Hartman. It's a much tougher schedule than what they had last year. The expected preseason rankings, Clemson will be 13. This is what we're assuming. 13 for Clemson. Florida State around number 11, it looks like. Or no, that was their last year. I'm sorry. That was what they finished last year. Clemson finished 13. Florida State finished 11. Notre Dame was 18. Pitt was number 22. Then this year, the projected 25, North Carolina projected to be the number 25 ranked team. Florida State 14. Notre Dame 9. Clemson 8. You're opening the season with Clemson, obviously, but you have multiple top 25 teams on the schedule this year. I'm going under 6.5 wins. I think they're probably right around the 5 to 6 range. It's just a much tougher schedule. So
yeah, they were lucky last year.
They were fortunate in multiple different areas.
They had 16 fumble recoveries.
Yeah. The defense was fucking very opportunistic and to get the fumble recoveries, the ball's got to bounce your way. Mm-hmm. So it's a little more up in the air than like getting an interception or anything like that. So, granted, the loss to Pitt on the road was a 2-point loss, which that was some horse shit at the end. Yeah, but they were never going to win the game.
Or 20 seconds.
Yeah, they were never going to win the game. That was the fucking one that screwed me.
From 18 yards out.
Yeah, I'm going under. I think this is a 5 or 6 win team. The schedule's much harder. I like Mike Elko a lot. Riley Leonard's very good. I think he could be probably a top 10 quarterback in the country. So, but yeah, it's just, I'm going under. Do you have anything for the ACC?
Yeah, I'm going Florida State over 9.5.
Really? What the fuck?
Minus 134.
Okay, so who do you think wins week 1?
I don't know. But yeah, speaking of that, I think whichever team loses can certainly reassert themselves as certainly conference championship because it wouldn't be a conference loss. But with that being said, and reinserting themselves into the top 10. Other than LSU, Florida State's next toughest opponent's Clemson, which they're 3-point underdogs right now. They're 3-point underdogs LSU.
Florida State's 3-point underdogs to Clemson?
Yeah.
Dude, so Klubnik's going to be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he showed flashes in one of the first couple games that he played, but then he also showed a lot of issues, a lot of poor decisions.
I think it was against Notre Dame, huh?
Maybe so. I don't fully remember. But it was multiple different games. Well, no, I was on the under in that game.
Oh, okay.
That was also bullshit. He made a lot of poor decisions. Happy feet in the pocket. I'm interested to see the progression he makes in his second season. But yeah, that's Florida State could certainly win that game.
Yeah,
without question. I think we've talked about it. We thought Florida State was going to be good last year, and they were. We felt like Norvell, last year was finally his guys and his system, and it obviously was his system, but he finally had the time to go recruit the pieces he wanted. Jordan Travis with an all-time jump in terms of, with him and Blackman that one year, it was like, oh, they both suck.
Mm-hmm.
He made a huge leap in quality of play, and then he's I think he's up there as a Heisman favorite potentially this year as well. They still have who's the running back? Benson?
Yeah, they have a few running backs actually.
Yeah. But there's one that's projected to be one of the first taken off and come next season's draft.
The receivers are really good. Johnny Wilson.
They're all big.
Yeah, they're all 6'4".
Yeah.
And they have a good connection already.
The biggest thing with Florida State is their secondary. There's some questions there at safety and at cornerback, kind of like LSU.
Mm-hmm.
LSU's questions are more around cornerback, but
well, Denver Harris better be good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but regardless, whichever team comes out on top week 1 will obviously have an advantage, but it doesn't mean that the season's over for the other team. I think both of these teams could reach we reached their win total, even with a loss in week 1.
Yeah.
That's why I'm betting on both of them.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's – I thought about it too because I felt like it's almost like a hedge your bet type of thing. You could still win both. Whoever loses, they could, like you just said, they could still hit the over, and you're really increasing the likelihood of at least hitting one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't hate it, honestly. I might do it as well. Like I said, I'm already on Duke, but yeah, I mean, Southern Miss, Boston College, win-win. I think Clemson's very winnable. Obviously, the spread dictates that. Going on the road, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But Virginia Tech, that's a win. Syracuse win. Duke's good. I like Duke. Florida State should win that game. On the road against Wake Forest should be a win. Pitt with Djokovic, we don't know what exactly they're going to look like on the offensive side of the ball. Should be a win. Miami was so bad last year. They're not going to make this monumentous jump in terms of production this year. Then you got North Alabama, and you got a Florida team. Granted, it is on the road. It's a rivalry game, but it's a Florida team that I don't think is going to be very good. I don't think Napier's as good of a coach as everybody wanted him to make him out to be. And then Graham Mertz, I don't think he's good. Wasn't able to do a damn thing in the Big Ten, and now you're going to the SEC. So
I don't know if Mertz is starting yet.
Who else would it be?
Jack Miller, maybe?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the spring game was like 10-7. Fans were pretty pissed.
Yeah, I mean they're not gonna be anything really worth a shit, I don't think.
Yeah, but they might beat Georgia, remember that.
Yeah, I mean it's like, yeah, he said we've already established Auburn, so if you're banking on Auburn being that team, God bless you. But then yeah, if with Florida too, you're gonna need a fucking game out of Tennessee.
With my luck, it'll be Vanderbilt that upsets.
Stop. I think they beat him like 40 to fucking nothing last year. Okay, yeah, Jack Miller.
Jack Miller, yeah.
Okay.
It's actually a battle from what I've read.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't expect Mertz to necessarily run away with it because he's fucking trash. But yeah, I mean, they're gonna rely on the run. This is gonna be a running Florida team. So, okay, do we have anything else for the ACC?
Are y'all doing an independent thing?
I do have one, but
okay.
I just kind of threw it into the Big Ten.
I threw it into ACC just because of I guess that COVID year.
Okay.
That's cool. I'll wait till you give yours out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be the same thing. So I'm going Notre Dame over 8.5 wins, -110.
Yes.
We've talked about it. I think Hartman's going to have a pretty good season. I think this is a good opportunity. We saw what he did at Wake. The slow mesh bullshit I never like, and I feel like it makes your life a lot more difficult because you're putting people in the pocket, and now he should have cleaner pockets to operate with.
I agree.
You're going to see a little bit of regression out of the defensive side of the ball, at least from what we're accustomed to with Notre Dame, but I think Marcus Freeman's a good coach. I think he can make up for it a little bit. But I think the offense is going to make up for the lack of or the regression of the defense. So he's a huge upgrade over Buckner, in my opinion. I'm going over 8.5 wins. I think this is a good opportunity, for Notre Dame to kind of get back into the mix a little bit. I mean, what they gave Ohio State a game, didn't they? Or am I missing that?
First game
It
of
was
the season?
somewhat of a close game, but
Ohio State pulled away towards the end, though,
Yes.
right? So the score. But yeah, if you look at their schedule, Navy, Tennessee State, you got to go on the road against NC State. Where did I say who the fuck went to NC State?
What's his name from Virginia?
Yeah, Brennan Armstrong. Good fucking luck. You got Central Michigan, obviously Ohio State. You go on the road against Duke, tough. On the road against Louisville, tough. Then you got USC. It's going to be the toughest game by far, other than Ohio State. Well, and they got Clemson too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, when you really break it down, it can be a little dicey.
I don't think they lose 3 of those games.
I think they can beat Clemson, but
Let me say 4 actually, because I got it at over 8.5.
and also too USC. I'm interested to see USC's defense if they improve. Their defense was not that good last year. Mm-mm. It was. I screamed it all year. They were very same thing, kind of like Duke, except the opposite, whereas USC was getting the interceptions.
yeah.
It was a lot of tip ball interceptions. I was on the receiving end of it, I think week 2. It's a lot put on Caleb Williams' shoulders. I'm still going to go. I'm going over 8.5. I think Hartman's that good. He's that much of an upgrade from the quarterback that they had, the quarterback situation that they had last year. Obviously, it was a carousel. They were able to win 9 games last year. They were able to go 9-4 when you take in the bowl game, obviously. So, but 8-4 regular season with a loss to USC. They lost to Stanford. That was the one that was like, you lose to Marshall, which it was a good Marshall team. We told you that all year. But you lose to Stanford. If they don't lose to Stanford, then they hit what this season's win total would be. A little bit different of a schedule, I understand, but they had to play BYU. They went on the road to North Carolina. They opened the season on the road against Ohio State, like we were just talking about, but they played Clemson and beat them. They had to go to the Carrier Dome and blew out a Syracuse team that was ranked in the top 25. They did lose some people. They lost some running backs. They lost some production to the transfer portal as well as to the draft. They're going to lose some members of the D-line. So there's some questions that need to be answered, but I think the addition of Sam Hartman can't really be overstated. I think he is really fucking good, and he's going to make life a lot easier for Notre Dame. So I'm going, like I said, over 8.5. You're taking the same?
Yes.
Are you on either side?
No.
What would you lean?
I don't know.
It is a tough schedule.
Pull it up.
I did.
What 4 teams are beating them?
Well, I mean, fucking
Clemson, Ohio State, USC.
Yeah, Pitt's tough. Louisville on the road. Don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on Duke on the road.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, you can say nope all you want, but
No.
Riley Leonard's going to be
Hartman
one of
is
the
that
better.
Hartman is that good.
Yeah, but
He can make up for those defensive deficiencies.
yeah, but
Did you see some of the balls he's throwing in? I hate it too, that little mesh bullshit. The accuracy he has on those balls with the
I get it, but
the
they have a lot
pressure
of they
on
have a
him is
lot of
ridiculous.
questions. They have a lot of questions in the secondary, and Riley Leonard's going to be able to fucking.
Yeah, it's a first-time play caller as their offensive
yes,
coordinator.
yeah, they lost. They lost. Was it fucking
I don't know.
Reese, Tommy Reese,
Something like that.
some shit to Alabama. Yeah, so there's a lot of like I said, the addition of Sam. I'm taking the over, but it's not a home run. It's not a home run. There's a lot of shit that is going to have to be addressed, and I mean, we saw Wake Forest put up a lot of points, but if you can't stop anybody, it's tough. And I do think that Freeman's. I mean, obviously he's a defensive-minded coach. I think he's a very good coach, but the questions in the secondary are going to be a problem. So, especially against a team like USC, I think Pitt could be good. I just don't. They're going to have a good defense, certainly. And then if Djokovic can kind of live up to even a little bit of the potential that they thought he was going to have at Boston College. Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy schedule because a lot of those games are on the road, too. I mean, like Ohio State is probably going to be a loss, but there's questions to be answered there, too, with their quarterback play.
I have them taking one of those 3 games against Ohio State, USC, or Clemson.
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to. No, not necessarily. But, yeah, I mean, 2 of the 3 are on the road, and then...
If they take one of those 3,
I'm sorry, 2 are at home, but...
Then we're good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, obviously Navy, Tennessee State, NC State, Central Michigan. You should start off 4-0. If you don't start off 4-0, you're in trouble.
Yes.
So you're in big trouble
Yes.
because then, I mean, just the stretch too. Literally, you have a stretch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight weeks. You're playing a quality football team: Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, USC, Pittsburgh, Clemson. That's 6 straight weeks. So Wake Forest should obviously be a win, and then Stanford's trash. So you are guaranteed 1, 2, 3, 4. You're guaranteed 6 wins. You need to find 3 wins from Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, USC, Pittsburgh, and Clemson. Most likely would be obviously Pittsburgh. And then if you can win Pittsburgh, Louisville, and Duke, then you can lose to the top teams. But, I mean, that's easier said than done, dude. A lot of those games are on the road. So I'm still on the over. I do think, but it's not a home run. Like I said, there are some serious questions that are going to have to be answered pretty quick in the season. So what do you have for the Big Ten?
Yeah, I was kind of struggling to find
It was tough. That's why I lumped in Notre Dame.
If you look at the top teams, Ohio State and Michigan, both at 10.5. Michigan's obviously returning their quarterback, but Ohio State isn't. And then is Corum back? I'm pretty sure both him and Edwards are back. So that'll be interesting for Michigan. They'll be a lot like they've been the past 2 years, but
Yes, he is.
the biggest question for Michigan is receiver play, and then obviously still how good is McCarthy.
Yeah.
Ohio State, they've kind of been able to plug and play with quarterbacks over the past 5 years to where they haven't really skipped a beat. As far as I know, there's really not they don't have a starter right now.
No, it sounds
They're
like
looking like they want the freshman.
Yeah.
But he was injured in the spring.
What I saw most recently was the backup last year, McCord or McLeod or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but from what I saw, it does kind of sound like the other guy's got more upside.
Yeah.
It's just if he's ready. So, but yeah, that's not good. That means like the guy you're rolling with, like, okay, we have a better option. Best case scenario, like if he lives up to expectations, so you're kind of going with the guy who isn't as talented. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the best wide receiver in the country.
Yeah, and they got the other guy returning.
Yeah.
Forget his name. Ibuka or something like that.
Yeah.
And then their running backs are going to be pretty damn good, so they should be able to run the football. And then the third team is Penn State, which Penn State kind of, I'm not totally sold on the guy Drew Allard.
Question marks at quarterback.
Yeah.
He was the top prospect in the 2022 recruiting class. We saw him last year when Clifford got kind of banged up. There's a lot of upside. He's a big guy. He's got a really strong arm, but
life will be easy for them. It'll be a little easier for him, obviously, because they're running backs. They're going to have a quality running back room.
But Penn State's sitting at 9.5. They have to play Michigan and Ohio State. So,
That's my pick.
the Big Ten was kind of tough, especially looking at the top teams.
Yeah.
I like Penn State. That's mine. Over 9.5. If you look at them last year, the only 2 games they lost were obviously Michigan and Ohio State. I could see that happening again this year. And they hit 10 wins again. But that's the biggest question mark is Aller or Lar replacing Sean Clifford.
I was watching their spring game, though, and dude, he doesn't make the best decisions in the red zone. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, more than likely, yeah, they're going to lose to Ohio State and Michigan.
Right.
And then you've got Michigan State on the road, which, I mean, who gives a shit? Maryland on the road. Is Tagovailoa back again?
I don't know.
Northwestern on the road, Illinois on the road. Everybody else is at home. So, yeah, I mean, realistically.
This is a preseason top 5 defense in the country, though.
Yeah, they lost a lot of production, though. But,
I mean, even if you have subpar play from Alar, I think their defense can hold true on those other games besides those 2 big ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we got to get our eyes on the defense, but
yeah,
I mean, they lost Joey Porter Jr.
Yes.
Who was the other guy? The other guy was like better.
The corner?
What's his fucking name? Yeah, there was another one.
Oh, I thought Porter was the guy.
I mean, he was definitely one of them, but is the other guy coming back? From what I was reading, they're not really expecting the defense to take a step back necessarily. It's just guys that got to prove they can do it. But the expectations are still very high.
Yeah, I think the guy Alar is being oversold a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who was the last good Penn State quarterback? McSorley?
Clifford.
There always seems to be hype around these guys, and they don't live up to expectations. I hate their fucking field. It always looks like they can't move fast.
Yeah.
They want that grass high, so they're playing in quicksand. I don't know. Dude, Trey Potts might be the third best running back in that room. I'm surprised he went there.
Yeah.
They should be able to run the ball, lean on the run, play good defense. If Ohio State kind of does have question marks at quarterback and regresses a little bit, who knows? Maybe they get them, and then if they upset Michigan or Ohio State, then they should fucking get to 10 wins. But judging by the schedule, I'm not on it, but I don't hate it. I think it's just question marks around the quarterback that have to be answered. I don't know enough about him. The spring game, he didn't blow me away by any means.
Yeah.
So I tried to watch as many fucking spring games as I could. But yeah, I don't hate it by any means. Are you on anything for, what are we talking about, Big Ten, did you say?
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not? Okay. Big 12, anything?
Yeah, Texas.
Which way you going?
Texas over 9.5.
I'm on it too then, because I was so fucking close to doing it. I am doing it too.
You look at the non-conference, they get Rice, Wyoming. The tough one is Alabama.
Yep.
And then their tough matchups in the Big 12 is
Oklahoma.
they go on the road to play Baylor, and then they play Oklahoma.
The Red River Shootout.
At the neutral site.
Yep.
But just looking at it, I think they're capable of beating Alabama this year.
I do too.
So it's like if they get that win, it's like all of a sudden Baylor and Oklahoma, those games don't seem like tough games for Texas anymore.
Yeah.
And I know we kind of saw last year with Texas, they were favorites in some games that they lost, they shouldn't have lost.
But Ewers was battling injuries.
Yeah.
Yes. Oklahoma State.
I think, I told you, I watched their spring game too. And I think first drive they didn't do shit. Second drive though, Ewers put a fucking ball in the bucket to Worthy. They struggled to punch it in, but they ended up getting it in on fourth down. But they have running backs that are going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be Bijan, but you lose a lot of production. What's the backup's name? I'm drawing a blank on his name, but even the backup running back behind Bijan Johnson was really good. And some people are like, their bold prediction is, you might even said that. Did you say that you felt like he could have a better career than Bijan?
No, I was just saying I thought he was a top 10 running back in the draft.
Maybe that's what it was. I know I saw somebody say their bold prediction was that he'll end up being more productive in the NFL than Bijan.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Yeah, that's correct. It's a bold prediction, and it's not mine. But they lose a lot of production running the football, but they have guys that are filling the role, and they have weapons on the outside. Worthy obviously being number one, but they have guys to complement him. And Ewers looked good. Ewers looked good in the spring game. He looked good last year in spurts. They were gonna beat Alabama if he doesn't get hurt. And then the fucking questionable safety, whatever that wasn't. Yeah, I'm going over 9.5 as well. I was right on the edge. I didn't have a team for the Big 12. I was interested to see what you would say, and so yeah, if you're on it, I'm taking it as well. I think this is the best chance Texas is going to have to get back in the mix, get back in the conversation. I think Ewers is good. I think he's good enough. So, because he hit a deep ball right off the bat to Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, okay, I think he missed one and then came back and hit one, and there was question marks on how he was going to respond because he hadn't really played any meaningful football, like from high school, because he never played at Ohio State. So, yeah, I'm going to take that as well. So, sounds like we're all on it. What else do you have? I think that's it for me. That
wraps it up.
That's it for me, over under win totals.
Yep.
You have, obviously, we know who we're going to talk about for Heisman, but do you have anybody else?
Yeah, I would consider a few other players.
Okay. So we may have mentioned it in prior episodes, but Nick and I both took Jaden Daniels to win the Heisman Trophy, and he got it at 18-1. We both got it at 18-1. It's now like 10-1 odds. I don't know what it was. A video went viral of him slinging the ball around at a camp. I don't think that would necessarily move the odds that much, but we went to the spring game. We laid our eyes on the offense. First play, who was it, Lacey with the touchdown?
Yeah.
A fucking sick one-handed catch, breaks the tackles. Jaden Daniels looked fucking spectacular in the spring game. Jaden Daniels is dynamic on the ground. The question, sometimes he would default to running and wouldn't lean on his ability to throw the ball. In the spring game, what did he have, 2 incompletions all day? It was something. It was a really good showing. We have weapons. I think that, and he's the dual threat guy that everybody loves. America loves a quarterback that can run and make exciting plays. 18-1 odds for Jaden Daniels. You're not going to be able to necessarily find it anymore. Like I said, I think we mentioned it a few episodes ago, but you're looking at around 10 to 11-1 odds now. We'll see what happens, but this is the last time we told you to. I also bet. I think we both bet LSU to win the national championship.
Mhm.
What were the odds? I have to look it up. I got it on my phone.
33-1.
Yeah, it's eerily reminiscent to 2019 when it was 35-1. This is
LSU's 16-1 this year.
Okay.
I thought you meant 2019.
No, yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, I had 35-1 that year. Yeah, I'm talking this year. Did you bet it this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we both did.
16-1, I think.
Okay. So yeah, last year the last time that we bet LSU to win the national championship and the quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy was 2019. We haven't done it since. We're doing it this year. I've been saying this is going to be a fucking really big year in terms of LSU and the Saints. It's going to be a big year for the podcast. Take that for what it's worth. The last time we told you to bet LSU to win it all and the quarterback to win the Heisman, both happened. We're telling you to do it again. So who else would you consider?
I would consider, and they kind of switched spots as far as odds are concerned, but Jordan Travis.
Okay.
18-1. He was where Daniels is right now.
Yeah.
So they kind of swapped spots. But yeah, I'm big on Florida State and both LSU.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was big on Travis last year too. And what game was it? Was it Florida? He did not show up in the Florida game, but we were both on that one game where he got hurt, remember? Yeah. And the backup came in. But they ended up covering, didn't they?
I forget that backup's name, dude. That dude.
It was something that you like. It was a weird name.
I kept saying
it. But they covered, I think.
Yeah, they did.
It was like kind of improbable.
Because he looked like shit.
Yeah, he looked really bad.
Into the first half, and I was like,
first drive, I was
screwed.
like, first drive, I'm like, we're fucking dead. I think he threw like a terrible pick. I was like, oh, we're dead. And then they end up doing the impossible. Yeah, I don't hate it. I like Jordan Travis a lot. Jordan Travis, the like I touched on earlier, the just complete turnaround that he made is pretty remarkable. 18-1 odds is pretty good, I would say. Obviously, we liked it for Jaden Daniels. So, and they're similar players.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniels is a little faster, a little more dynamic, but Travis is a little bit better passer, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it. You got anything else? Who's the leader? Oh, it's
Caleb.
Yeah. To go back to back. It's a dumb question. Wasn't it like it was like
2-1?
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty much, but there's not really anybody else. So it's kind of like, what if Caleb Williams gets hurt? Like, what if Caleb Williams says, I'm going to make a fuckload of money next year? I don't really feel like playing. We lost an early game. Like, which I'm not necessarily saying he'll do that, but he does. He paints his fingernails. So, I don't know. If it's not Caleb Williams, who is it? Probably Jaden Daniels or Jordan Travis.
Yeah, because that's the other two guys that can kind of make stuff happen on the ground.
Unless Carson Beck is really that good.
It's like pure pocket passers are going to have to do so much.
Yeah.
Like Joe Burrow did.
Yeah, you got to break records because people.
So that's where it's like Ewers, who's also up there. I don't know how much.
That's what I'm on.
How many touchdowns can he throw, you know?
I think they have that similar season. I'm not, by no means am I comparing them to that LSU season, but I think this offense is going to be incredible this year.
Oh, I think it'll be good. But
and I would totally dismiss Michael Penix Jr. at 12-1. I would.
No, I wouldn't even
totally
waste my time.
Dismiss him at being even in the conversation.
It's just that the schedule, like they're gonna have to they'd have to beat every top team in the Pac-12, and then even then it probably wouldn't be enough. They don't play anybody. The Pac-12 sucks, so he would have to fucking go crazy. He'd have to go crazy. All right. Do you have any conference champions? I know he does.
No, not really.
Okay, I don't either. Who are you taking?
All of them?
You said, yeah. Just
I thought we were going over all of them.
I don't have any. I didn't take any to win the conference championships, and it sounds like he didn't either. Which ones do you feel best about?
Which ones do I feel best about? Texas and the Big 12.
What are the odds?
I didn't write them down.
Plus 115 on FanDuel.
Who would be second best? Oklahoma?
Yeah.
What do they got? Like 5-1, 6-1?
Plus 360.
Okay.
It's like a lot of these odds are kind of crap.
Yeah, you can probably fish around and maybe find a little better, but yeah, no, I mean it.
You can really do good on the conference champions if like you have a idea on a long shot, you know.
Yeah.
Like TCU was 100-1 or some shit last year.
I know. Okay, what else you got?
My two favorites are Texas and in the Big 12 and Florida State in the ACC.
Yeah.
Although I do like Drake May in UNC.
Yeah. Well, it's in my opinion, it's Florida State or Clemson. I'm interested to see. They're not going to contend for the championship, but I'm interested to see the direction Miami goes, because there was a lot of hype around Mario Cristobal. He had a lot of coaches that he brought in, and he fired a lot of coaches after year one. Kind of a complete overhaul from year one to year two. I'm interested to see which direction they go. I think I'm probably lower on Drake May than most. I think he's good. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't want to draft him as my quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you think? You think he's good enough?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Their team
I don't know.
sucks.
They do. And that's where, I cut him a little bit of slack, but some of his decision-making was, like in the Duke game specifically. Yeah. And that's, I don't know. That's a little different.
He was a freshman.
Last year?
Yeah.
Was he? I thought he was a sophomore last year. He was a freshman?
Yeah.
No way. I thought they're saying he's going to get drafted after this year.
I don't know. Is he eligible?
I thought. Let me see.
It was definitely his first year playing.
No, yeah, he was a freshman. Why are they saying?
Because the Redskins quarterback was their old quarterback.
Yeah, Howell.
Yeah, Sam Howell.
Yeah. I could have swore I saw a mock draft. Was it some like a bullshit like if he was coming out? Yeah, so that's a little different then. I thought he was a sophomore. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, their defense was horrible though.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was.
So bad. 120 points scored in that App State UNC game.
Was that the onside kick?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Sick.
What else you got? Anything?
Not really.
What about you?
Just big on Texas this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on LSU to win the national championship. I think it's interesting when you look at the favorites. A lot of them aren't returning quarterback play.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia,
Yeah,
Alabama,
there's question marks.
Ohio State. Those are the top three favorites. None of them are returning quarterbacks.
Yep. No, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered for a lot of the typical top teams in the nation. But I mean, dude, LSU, you're getting Mason Smith back on the D-line. You bring in Denver Harris. Like, obviously there are questions at corner, but if he could live up to the 5-star potential, I mean, he didn't look spectacular in the spring game. Landon Ibieta kind of fucking.
They got a transfer from Marshall, who transferred to Tulane, then transferred to us, all in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that'll help. They also got a transfer from Southeastern.
I'm not completely out on Denver Harris.
I think there's going to be a bit of a we'll have a decent rotation there at cornerback, but no standout guys.
Well, just get pressure on the quarterback and it'll make their life easier. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was the number one transfer portal guy overall. Yeah. So I'm holding out hope. So, but yeah, no, I mean, he didn't have a great showing in the spring game by any means. Yeah, I mean, that's all I got. I mean, we'll go back through it real quick. So, for the American Conference, I'm taking Tulane over 9 wins. Go to Caesars to find the best odds from what I saw. Then we're going Conference USA. I feel very strongly about this one. Louisiana Tech over 5.5 wins. The MAC, I'm going Central Michigan over 5.5 wins for even money. Boise State in the Mountain West over 7.5 wins. We're not really fading many teams. Over 7.5 wins for Boise State. And I think that's it for the group of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who am I missing? Oh, I don't have Sunbelt. Pac-12. I feel strongly about this one as well. Under 3.5 wins for Colorado. The SEC, we're going over 9.5 wins for LSU. The Big 12, over 9.5 wins for Texas. Notre Dame, over 8.5 wins. I lumped them in for the Big 10, even though they are independent. And then Duke in the ACC, under 6.5 wins.
Okay, I have Georgia State over 5.5 wins, plus 138 from FanDuel. You have Tulane over 9 wins. I would be willing to go over 9.5. If you want slightly better odds,
yes.
Closer to even money. San Diego State under 6.5 wins, plus 110. LA Tech over 5.5 wins, minus 170. Liberty over 8.5 wins, minus 134. Texas over 9.5 wins, minus 124. Florida State over 9.5 wins, minus 134. USC over 9.5 wins, minus 188. Alabama under 10.5 wins, minus 184. Georgia over 11.5 wins, plus 116. And LSU over 9.5 wins, minus 115.
Okay.
I added Tulane over 9.5 wins in the American Conference, the SEC at minus 142. I got Georgia under 11.5. I got Notre Dame over 8.5 wins at minus 110. In the Big Ten, I got Penn State over 9.5 wins at minus 138. In the Big 12, I got Texas over 9.5 wins at minus 124. And in the Pac-12 at minus 144, Washington under 9.5 wins.
Alrighty. And we just touched on Heisman. Obviously, we're taking Jaden Daniels. Nick's also taking Jordan Travis. And then LSU, again, 16, 17-1, whatever it was. That's really all we got. So like I said, these are the ones that you got to risk the money now, but it'll pay dividends later. And if you're not really keeping track of your record, that money's been long gone for 6 months. It's kind of just lagniappe at that point. You've certainly lost money if you lose that bet, but it doesn't feel like it. So if you got the money to front now, do it. But yeah, no, we're going to look to there's money to be made on these bets. I feel strongly about quite a few of these. I know Nick does as well as Joseph. So we're going to see what we can do. It's close. It's right around the corner. Once we hit August, it's back for me. August is a month that we're good. We're back. Football's here. So really it's September, but we're nearly there. So episode 157 is in the books. You got anything to say before we go?
Adios.
Hook 'em horns.
Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page, Big Easy Bets TV. Subscribe on Apple. Subscribe on Spotify. Go follow the social media pages. The whole 9 yards. This is going to be a really, really big season for us. And you come along for the ride. We've been dragging everybody along for the ride. The people that don't listen, that's on you. But there's money to be made, and we are going to make some money. Y'all have a good one. Who dat?
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed. It was good. I liked it.